If you've ever opened up Affinity Designer 2 on the iPad and felt overwhelmed, I get it. It's kind of a lot. So in this video, we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna teach you Affinity Designer version 2 on the iPad from the perspective of a complete beginner. So no graphic design degree required or any high-level design concepts. Instead, I'm gonna show you the tools that you actually care about and want to know. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll understand the core concepts of Affinity Designer and have everything you need to start creating your own artwork. And I've created a beginner's guide that you can download for free. It focuses on the tools that we'll be discussing in this video, and you can use this as a reference. It's linked in the description box down below, so go ahead and grab that. So let's go ahead and get started. So before we start tapping on buttons, I want to answer a simple question. What exactly is Affinity Designer? Affinity Designer is a vector illustration app, and I'm still working in Affinity Designer version 2 for the iPad. Affinity version 3 has not come out yet, but I'm assuming a lot of these same concepts will be applicable once that comes out, but I'll probably make a whole new video like this once version 3 comes out. It's gonna look a little different when that does. So Affinity Designer is a vector illustration app, like I mentioned, and vectors are different than what you make in something like Procreate. When you draw in an app like Procreate, your artwork is made up of pixels. They are tiny little squares of color. When you zoom in far enough, you'll eventually start to see those little pixels. And vector artwork works differently. Instead of pixels, your artwork is built up of shapes and curves, and they're based on mathematical instructions. The advantage is that your artwork can be scaled up or down without ever losing quality. You can make it the size of a sticker or the size of a billboard, the same piece of artwork, and it stays perfectly crisp for either. And this is why Affinity is a great program for you. As a beginner, you don't need to think about the math. You have the power to make these complex mathematical structures on a handheld device like your iPad, and it's just gonna feel like normal drawing. Except with Affinity Designer, it's all about building artwork using vector shapes. Once you understand the idea, everything else starts to make a lot more sense. Now let's take a quick tour of the interface. When you open up Affinity Designer and you're just in your gallery, the first thing you need to do, of course, is to create a new document. So you'll tap on New document, and then choose a size that you want. I have a preset that I made that I call Vector Design, and it's just 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. And then once you have your preset chosen, you just tap on OK. So this large area in the center is your canvas. So you think of this as your digital piece of paper. This is where all of your artwork will live. Over on the side, you'll find your toolbar. These are the tools that you'll use to create and edit your artwork. At the top of the screen, you'll see additional settings. And what's interesting is that these settings change depending on which tool you're using. So don't worry if this area seems different from what you're seeing on my screen. That's completely normal. And on the other side of the interface, you'll see the studio panels. This is where you'll find things like layers, colors, brushes, transforms, assets, symbols, and a whole bunch of other things. Now, here's some good news. As a beginner, you do not need to learn all of these today. In fact, there are really only 3 panels that I think every beginner should focus on, and that's the layers panel, the color panel, and the transform panel. I actually use that a lot. Everything else can kind of wait for when you're feeling a little more adventurous. Now, before we start drawing, there is one concept that will make Affinity Designer dramatically easier to understand, and it's the vector mindset. Most beginners open Affinity Designer and immediately try to draw in the same they would in Procreate. And while you can draw freehand in Affinity Designer, instead, vector artists think in shapes. For example, if I wanted to create this sea otter, I would not start by drawing in every detail. I would start by looking for the simple shapes. The body is a rounded rectangle-y noodle shape, and so I can just start off with this rounded rectangle. Maybe the head is a circle, the ears are more circles or just half circles really, and the nose is a triangle. So instead of drawing the entire otter at once, I'm building it piece by piece. And this is one of the reasons why I love vector art. You don't have to be amazing at drawing, you just need to get better at seeing shapes. If you can see the shapes in things, you can create vector illustrations. Now let's look at the 5 tools you'll probably use more than anything else. The first is the Move tool. This is essentially your selection tool. Anytime you want to move an object, resize it, rotate it, duplicate it, or select it, You'll usually start with the Move tool, and then next are the Shape tools. You can create circles, rectangles, triangles, stars, rounded rectangles, and a dozen other shapes. And what's surprising is just how much artwork can be built by just these simple building blocks. A lot of professional vector illustrations start with nothing more than basic shapes. And the reason for that is because while all you start off with is a basic shape, you can tap on this button, convert to curves, and then move the nodes and transform it so that it will fit your design. And then that brings us into the next tool, which is the Node tool. The Node tool allows you to reshape objects after you've created them. And it's kind of like digital sculpting. You start off with a simple shape and then push and pull points to customize it. These little points are called nodes. And you can also tap along the curve to place a new node to customize the shape even further. And understanding nodes is one of the keys to becoming comfortable with vector art. After that, we have the pen tool. Now, the pen tool has a reputation for being intimidating, and I think it's because people try to learn everything about it all at once. For now, I want you to think of it as a tool for placing points and connecting them together. I also like to use the vector pencil tool. It allows you to draw freehand just like you would a pencil on paper, but instead of creating pixels, it creates those editable vector curves, and it's a great option if you prefer sketching naturally. If you're more comfortable with drawing by hand than building shapes with the pen tool, the vector pencil tool is a great place to start as well. And finally, we have color. Every object in Affinity Designer will have a fill color and a stroke color, or you can have either of those two things to be set to no color, depending on what it is you're trying to draw. The fill is the color inside the shape, and the stroke is the outline around the shape. Once you understand those two concepts, coloring your artwork becomes much easier. Now let's talk about layers. Layers sound complicated when you're first getting started, but they're actually really simple. Imagine stacking several sheets of transparent paper on top of each other. You can draw something on each sheet independently, and whatever's on top of the sheet appears in front, and whatever's underneath appears behind it. It's kind of like how cell animation works. I don't mean to digress, but it's essentially the same concept, layering color and images to make one image. And that's how digital illustration layers work. As long as you understand that layers control what appears in front and what appears behind, you're already ahead of where most beginners start. And we'll keep things simple today and just focus on basic layer organization. Now let's go ahead and create something together. I'll take you through a few elements on this piece that I'm drawing here. I'm just making my monthly phone theme for my Patreon members. And if you're interested in joining, my Patreon is linked below. As we build this illustration, I want you to notice something. I'm not worrying about details right away. I'm focusing on the largest shapes first. This is one of the biggest differences between beginner artists and experienced artists. Experienced artists focus on structure before details. And I'm starting with a sketch I made. Don't feel like you need to start from scratch. You can make yourself a sketch for a guide. So let's start off with some simple shapes. I'm starting from the back and I will go forward. So my bottom layer will be the background, and in this case, it's going to be some water. And above that will be some freeform shapes using the pen tool and a lighter blue for some reflections and movement in the water. And I'll also use the pen tool for a couple more other reflective details. Once I'm happy with the overall structure, I can use the node tool to customize and refine the shapes. And notice how much easier it feels than trying to draw everything perfectly on the first attempt. We're solving one problem at a time. Big shapes first, smaller shapes second, and then details last. We'll use the vector pencil tool to add some simple finishing elements. Then we can organize our layers. So once I finish an element, I will select all of those layers that make up that element and then group them. And you can even name the layer group if you want. By building the artwork step by step, the process becomes much less overwhelming and I can just take it element by element. So next, I will use those same skills to make my actual otter characters, starting from the bottom layer, so his little floaty, and then build the elements of my character one by one on top of it, and then adding the little details last. And then I'll just keep repeating that process, and keeping the sketch on top is going to be really helpful. So I suggest keep on moving it to the top. Even when you lock it, it's not going to lock to the top, which is kind of frustrating. Hopefully they fix that with version 3, but I don't know. You'll find all sorts of success with Affinity Designer when you figure out the not so secret about it. You don't create complex illustrations all at once. You build them gradually, one shape at a time. So if you've made it this far, thank you and congratulations. You now understand the most important concepts of Affinity Designer. And hopefully this app feels a little less intimidating than it did at the beginning of the video. So don't worry about mastering every tool today. Just open the app, create something simple, experiment, make mistakes, and let each project teach you something new about it. And if you're looking for more projects to try in Affinity Designer, try these fun projects in this video right here.